In this section, we will be reviewing adding or subtracting fractions that involve pi. So if we look at example A right here, we see we've got pi plus pi over 3. So our common denominator is going to be 3, so we will multiply pi by 1 in the form of 3 over 3. Remember, we can't multiply times 3, we can only multiply times 1. We can't change the value of pi. We still have to have 1 pi. Okay? And then we're adding to that pi over 3. Now, of course, when you multiply fractions, you have 3 over 3 times pi. Pi is the same as pi over 1. So this becomes 3 pi over 3 plus pi over 3. Since they have the same denominator, we can write them as one fraction, 3 pi plus pi over 3. So this becomes 4 pi over 3. And that's our final answer. Now, looking at this second example here, example B, very similar problem. We have a whole number, pi, minus a fraction of pi, pi over 6. This time our common denominator will be 6, so we're going to multiply this first number pi times 1 in the form of 6 over 6. We take that times pi minus pi over 6. This turns into 6 pi over 6 minus pi over 6. We know we can write that now as one fraction, 6 pi minus pi, the whole thing over 6, which becomes 5 pi over 6. Great. Now in this third example here, example C, we see we have two different denominators. So the first order of business is to find the least common denominator. And the smallest multiple that both 6 and 4 both go into is 12. So that's what we will use for our denominator. So to get the denominator of this first fraction to be 12, we see we're going to have to multiply by 1 in the form of 2 over 2. So we take that times negative 7 pi over 6. And this second fraction, to get the denominator to be 12, we're going to have to multiply by 1 in the form of 3 over 3. So we take that times the 3 pi over 4. And now this first fraction, right, numerator times numerator is negative 14 pi. Denominator times denominator is 12. In the second piece, we've got numerator times numerator is 9 pi. Denominator times denominator is 12. Now that the fractions have the same denominator, we can write them as one fraction. So we have negative 14 pi plus 9 pi over 12. And the final answer there then is going to be negative 5 pi divided by 12. Okay, you are ready to try part 1 of the PreTrig review homework. So good luck!